Now that we know how to find the inverse of a matrix, we can look at the applications of inverses. We can use the inverse to solve a system of equations, and I'm looking at a basic example, but the principle that I'm using here is that if a times x equals b, then I can divide both sides by a, and to solve for x, and that's x equal a inverse b. That's another way of writing b divided by a. So in this example, I want to do two things. I want to first write this as a matrix, and second, I want to use the inverse to solve for x and for y. So when writing this in terms of a matrix, I'm going to have three matrices. I'm going to have an A, an X, and a B, like I have in my rule up here. A is simply the coefficients of x and y, 2, 3, 3, and 5. My second matrix contains my variables. I have a variable x and y, and that is going to be equal to the constants that are on the right-hand side. And now I'm using this principle here, that I can find what my variable is if I multiply A inverse by B. In this case, I have A, I have B, and this matrix would be X. So to start this problem off, I would first need to find the inverse of A. Now I can use my rule that we learned in the previous video, that 1 over D times D, negative B, negative C, and A is equal to A inverse. So first of all, I need to find D. D is AD minus BC. So this would be 2 times 5 minus 3 times 3, which gives us 1. So now I can use this to find the A inverse. A inverse is 1 over D, which is 1, times the matrix D, negative B, negative C, A. So this would be 5, negative 3, negative 3, 2. And since we're basically just multiplying by 1, A inverse is simply 5, negative 3, negative 3, and 2. Now we found the inverse, and now we can go back up to our equation x equal A inverse B. So now we need to multiply, and we're multiplying 5, negative 3, negative 3, 2 times the matrix B, which is 5, 8. And when we multiply, we are multiplying the first row times the column, 5 times 5 plus negative 3 times 8. And remember, this is in matrix form. That's our first entry. And our second entry, negative 3 times 5 plus 2 times 8. And then simplifying, our final answer is 1, 1. In terms of the problem, it tells us that x equals 1 and y equals 1.